never thought a piece of furniture would change my life. But there I was at 62, standing in my living room, staring at that old floral couch that had seen better days. The springs were shot, and the fabric had faded from years of afternoon sunlight. It was time to let it go. My daughter Helen had been telling me for months to get rid of it. She said I needed to freshen up the place, make it feel more like mine again instead of a museum to the past. She was right. Ever since Robert passed 3 years ago, I had been holding onto everything, afraid that changing anything meant forgetting him. But that Tuesday morning, something shifted inside me. Maybe it was the way the light came through the window, or maybe I was just tired of being stuck. I called the donation center and scheduled a pickup for the weekend. The man who showed up that Saturday was not what I expected. His name was Thomas, and he must have been close to my age, maybe a year or two younger. He had kind eyes, the sort that crinkled at the corners when he smiled. His hair was silver, and he moved with a careful grace, like someone who had learned to take his time with things. He looked at my couch, and then at me. "This is a beautiful piece," he said. "They don't make them like this anymore." I felt a little catch in my throat. "It was my husband's favorite spot," I said. "He used to sit right there every evening and read the paper." Thomas nodded slowly. He did not rush to fill the silence. That was the first thing I noticed about him. He understood that some moments needed quiet. "I lost my wife 4 years ago," he said finally. "I know how hard it is to let go of the things that hold memories." We stood there for a moment. Two strangers connected by grief and understanding. Then he smiled gently and said, "How about I help you move this? And maybe you can tell me a little about him while we work." So we did. As we carefully maneuvered the couch through the doorway, I found myself talking about Robert, about his terrible jokes and his love of baseball, about the way he always burned the toast but made the best scrambled eggs. Thomas listened, really listened, and shared stories about his Barbara, who had loved gardening and could never pass a stray cat without stopping to pet it. By the time we got the couch loaded onto the truck, I felt lighter somehow, not because the couch was gone, but because I had spoken Robert's name out loud to someone who understood, someone who did not look at me with pity or try to tell me it was time to move on. Thomas paused before getting into his truck. "There's a little diner down on Maple Street," he said. "They make a pretty good cup of coffee. If you ever want to talk or just sit in comfortable silence with someone who gets it. I'm usually there on Wednesday mornings around 9. I surprised myself by saying yes. That Wednesday, I found myself walking into Betty's Diner, a place I had driven past 100 times but never entered. Thomas was already there, sitting in a corner booth with 2 cups of coffee waiting. That was 6 months ago. Now, Wednesdays are my favorite day of the week. We sit in that same booth and talk about everything and nothing. Sometimes we share memories of our spouses. Sometimes we talk about our children or our grandchildren. Sometimes we just sit and watch the world go by through the window. Thomas has shown me that it is possible to honor the past while still being open to the present. He never tried to replace Robert or rush me into anything. He just offered his friendship, steady and patient, like a porch light left on to guide you home. Last month, he brought me a small potted plant. Barbara always said that taking care of something living helps remind you that life goes on. He explained. I put it on my kitchen windowsill, and every morning when I water it, I think about how grateful I am for second chances. Helen noticed the change in me. "Mom, you seem happier," she said during our weekly phone call. "There's something different in your voice." I told her about Thomas, about our Wednesday morning coffee dates, about how easy it was to talk to him. She was quiet for a moment, and I worried she might think I was being disloyal to her father's memory. But then she said something that made my eyes fill with tears. Dad would be glad you found a friend, Mom. He never wanted you to be alone. She was right. Robert had always been generous with his love, and he would have wanted me to find connection and joy wherever I could. Thomas and I have started doing more than just meeting for coffee. We go to matinee movies on rainy afternoons. We take walks in the park when the weather is nice. Last week, he helped me plant flowers in my garden, something I had not done since Robert got sick. I have learned that opening your heart after loss does not mean forgetting the love you had before. It means making room for new kinds of love. Different, but no less real. Thomas and I are not trying to recreate what we had with our spouses. We are creating something entirely our own, built on understanding and patience and the knowledge that life is precious and short. Yesterday, as we sat on my new couch, the one Helen helped me pick out last month, Thomas took my hand. It was not a grand gesture. It was simple and natural and felt like coming home. I never thought I would feel this way again. He said softly, "Neither did I." I replied. We sat there in comfortable silence, our hands intertwined, watching the afternoon light paint patterns on the wall. In that moment, I understood something important. Sometimes the hardest thing we can do is allow ourselves to be happy again, to give ourselves permission to feel joy without guilt. That old couch was just the beginning. Getting rid of it opened a door I did not even know I had closed. Behind that door was not a replacement for what I had lost, but something new and unexpected. A chance to experience the warmth of human connection again. A reminder that our hearts have an infinite capacity for love, if only we are brave enough to open them. Thomas and I do not know what the future holds. We are taking things one day at a time, one cup of coffee at a time, one shared smile at a time. And that is enough, more than enough, because I have learned that love does not come just once in a lifetime if you are lucky. Sometimes, if you are very lucky, it comes twice, different in form, but equal in grace. And all it takes is the courage to let go of an old couch and say yes to a Wednesday morning cup of coffee with a stranger who understands.